Well, I'm here. Got my first post about ready to head on out, talk about nutrition tonight. So just got out of the gym, about to go up here and hit the supermarket. As you can see here, I'm in the wonderful parking lot. Got Aldi's right there. Just got out of work, so it's probably gonna be pretty crowded. So I'm about to head on in there and get all my goods. And we're back. Made it out of Aldi's. Record time, about 5 minutes. Went in there, got the goods. All my goods for the week, all those nice nutritional things that'll make you nice and healthy, get your body feeling great. On the way out, I almost got hit by some old lady that was backing up. Don't know exactly what she was doing. I started yelling at her, but she just kept on backing up, so I just scurried on away. But the goods are secured. Time to click them in there. Let me go ahead, just boom. There we go. So here's all the goodies we got. We got all kinds of food ready to cook. Alrighty folks, it's about that time, about to start cooking all this wonderful food. I hope you enjoyed the video and all of the facts. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to type away and ask. Alrighty everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to show you the steps of my cooking process on eating for a week's worth of food. Right here you see me pouring my rice in there. I do about a 1/4 cup per serving. I'm going to post a long list of my macros and stuff that I eat. You can see me putting the water in there, getting ready to set the rice to boil. I only use long grain, parboiled, or wheat rice. Do not get short grain. Next up, we have my other favorite carb to eat, which is very nutritious. I get my sweet potatoes at Aldi's, cut them up into nice thick to thin pieces. That way they can cook all the way through. But sweet potatoes have various factors that make them extremely healthy. Alrighty, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spray some of this olive oil spray on top of my sweet potatoes. I'm going to go ahead and add some cinnamon. Then we're going to go ahead and top it off with some garlic, and then make sure you're reading the back of your labels and make sure there's no extra sugar, and then I'm going to top it off with some ground black pepper. Another very important part of my carbs that I eat are, of course, your veggies. They're great carbs intake. You see me nibbling on that? Yeah, that didn't taste very good, not cooked. Cutting them up, I usually use baby carrots, cut them in half. After the halves of the carrots, dump them in the water. Go ahead, let them start to boil and soften up. Then we have our broccoli, which is another one of my favorite veggies. Very high in protein. Tastes very good. Don't really eat the stalks. Not a big fan of the stalks, so I just chop them off and toss them out of the way. See me there, my magic fingers. Go ahead and cutting on all those big old stalks. Make them into chunks. Get the old scraps in there. Get a little catalyst going with the salt, hit that salt bay, ready, and boom, right there. Next up, we got the favorite protein of choice. We got chicken breast. Don't eat bone-in. I hate bone-in, so I just get the boneless chicken breast, get rid of the fats and all that gross stuff that Aldi's has on their chicken. Only downside, even though it is cheap. But look at that, just nice slab of chicken breast right there. Eat it raw. Just kidding. Do not do that, please, and thank you. As everyone knows, you can't eat plain chicken. I'm a very big fiend of spicy food. Go ahead and add that in there. It's a great metabolism booster, as well as I love the taste paprika. Get some chili powder in there, spice things up. Again, make sure you're checking all of your herbs and spices and making sure that they do not have added sugar in there, because a lot of them do. They make them cheap, added sugar to get better flavor. I love ground black pepper. That is the best tasting by far. As you can see, oh my God, what is that? No, I'm just kidding. Don't mind me. That's just my big old blue eye sneaking in there for a sneak peek. One of the other big proteins that I go ahead and eat in here is the ground beef. As you can see there, I got the 90%, 10%. Then on top of that, I add the ground turkey. I mix them together to get a little bit of a spicier taste, because the ground turkey is a little too bland for me. After I just touched out that raw food, I went over there and washed my hands, as you can see, as I pointed it out. Again, I'm using some red pepper flakes, some paprika, some chili powder to get that spice, almost identical to the spices I use to the chicken, except I usually use steak seasoning. It's like a blend that Aldi's has. You see me walking over there, dancing over there, checking the pantry, and guess what? I forgot it at the store. This really doesn't have anything to do with cooking, but you see here I have my containers. I have my blue lid ones and my green lid ones. That way I can go ahead and decipher which is which. Here we go, next to my breakfast portion. For my protein for breakfast, I usually do about 3 eggs and I kind of like put them all together, weigh them out. Don't mind me and my dancing. Oh, look at that. Did you see that drop? This one's a far one. Yep, definitely going to get yelled at later because I probably left some egg yolk on the counter. But what I do is I make a type of casserole sort of thing, and I mix the eggs. Then I go ahead with my cottage cheese to get your good proteins in there and all your fats from the eggs and the cottage cheese. Looks a little funky, doesn't taste very good, bland, but when you mix it in there, it makes a very creamy egg that tastes very good, and you can barely tell it's in there. The most fun part about the breakfast casserole is the fork tornado. As you can see there, I'm a master mixer. Got the fork in there doing action. I'm breaking up the egg yolk, that way it doesn't stick together. As you can see now, our veggies are finally done. I usually put the carrots in first to let them cook all the way through, because if not, then my broccoli goes ahead and gets very mushy, and nobody likes some mushy broccoli. What I do is I usually weigh my broccoli out first because that's the easiest to weigh out with the big chunks. It's kind of difficult to get it as accurate as possible, so I try to get around that. I usually use like about 2 stalks per meal. Next, I go ahead and look at my carrots through that steam wave, blow on them. They're very hot, so be careful. And then I weigh them all out equally. Rice, baby. Dun 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 dun. Time for me to weigh out my rice. I usually put about 4.6 ounces per container, which is roughly about 1/4 cup. You see me getting freaky to the rice dance right there. Oh, dump that. After the rice party, it's time for my sweet potatoes. They are finally done in the oven. Go ahead and weigh them out. I will use about 5 ounces of sweet potatoes per meal. See, I changed camera angle up on us, get a little different look. I realized that I kind of missed the container a little bit for my sweet potatoes, but that's okay. That's why I'm explaining everything. See my friend in the background there? Look at those meals looking good with the carbs and veggies. Oh my God, look at that thing. Yeah, don't mind me, I'm a goofy kid. Now I'm going ahead and weighing my ground beef and ground turkey out. I use about 6 ounces per meal for 6 of my meals. You can go ahead and see it all steaming up in there, that steamy hot goodness. And finally, my chicken is done. That is probably the longest piece of food to cook. It takes a while. I want to make sure you cook it all the way through. That way you're not getting salmonella or anything like that. And now, as you can see here, all my meals are complete. Go ahead, I'm going to package them up. Finally, the eggs are done, and we're going to go ahead and package those up as well. I'm making my breakfast for the morning. Clean up. Yep, it's that time. The best time of it all. Time to do all the dishes, clean up everything. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go ahead and post a really long post that you guys can read and get some information about my diet. I'm actually hitting a cutting phase now, so if you're wondering what my macros are, I'll post it up there so that way you guys can get a sense of everything. I appreciate you guys watching. Again, this is my first video ever. Never done anything like this before, so it's kind of out of my comfort zone, but I appreciate everybody watching it and taking the time to watch my goofy self and kind of learn. I feel like that's the best way to learn. Everybody take care.